think Donald Trump is racist?
I do.
You do?
And I'll tell you why. It's tough to say that somebody is not racist when they're doing all the racist things. You know, sometimes I feel like we need to invent like a racism Richter scale. Because racism in America is such a loaded word. It feels like people are more afraid of being called racist than actually being racist.
Nobody wants to be called racist.
No, people go, don't call me racist. I might do these things, but you don't call me racist. If Donald Trump chooses an advisor who has a platform that specifically caters to a movement that is neo-Nazi and white supremacist, then what do you call that? People go, I don't say the N-word, and I don't hang anybody, so I can't be racist. And I go, well, there's levels.
Noah's uniquely suited to talk about racism, growing up biracial in apartheid South Africa. He was forced to navigate the dangerous worlds between black and white, but he says he learned that communicating with those of the opposite view is crucial to success.
I don't exist in a world where I only listen to the people I agree with, because then how will I ever know how to dismantle or think about your arguments in a different way? Tommy Lahren.
Which is precisely why Noah invited conservative internet sensation Tommy Lahren on the show for an interview that went viral.
Do you really believe you're criticizing and you're not malintentioned when you say things like Black Lives Matter is the new KKK? Because you realize Black Lives Matter can't be the new KKK. The KKK is still around.
Some people were asking, why would you invite her on the show?
Because we invite everyone who's in the political sphere on the show. It's like, I don't agree with you on things, and I would like to challenge you, and I would like for you to challenge me.
Noah knows all about challenges, which he explores in his painfully honest new book, Born a Crime.
Different races being together was a crime, an official crime. There was an immorality act in the country.
Let alone sleeping together.
Exactly, that forbade that, and you could spend years in jail. And luckily, my parents were never caught, but my mom was caught for minor infractions regarding, relating to race, and she would spend time in jail, whether it be a week or a few weeks. Oftentimes, she'd have to pay a month's salary to get out.
His journey has led him here to one of the most coveted jobs in comedy.
Knowing where you've come from, such difficult times, do you sit here sometimes and go, wow?
Every day. Sometimes you get caught up in, hashtag first world problems. You're in a world where people convince you of problems that aren't real. Every single night I sit at the desk, every single night I talk to the audience. I appreciate every single inch of this place.
Each day begins just after 9 a.m. in the Daily Show morning writers meeting.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Nice thoughts.
The staff presenting pitches for that night's show.
I found one Facebook Live show where it's called The Wheel of Fugitives.
Yes.
And the cops spin the wheel and it lands on somebody's mugshot.
Wait, the police are doing this?
Yeah, the police are.
Wow. No, man.
This idea culminates into a hilarious segment, later delivered by correspondent Hassan Minhaj.
Yes, this is so much fun!
No, Hassan, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, we've got to take law enforcement seriously.
Dude, loosen up. Tell me you weren't happy when the wheel didn't land on the black guy.
When you go out there, still, it's been more than a year now.
Yes.
Does it still feel exciting, scary, what?
You never know. It's a different audience every day. It's different jokes every day. So there's always a possibility that anything could happen.
This newfound fame, a stark contrast from Noah's tough childhood.
So when you're writing a book, is it painful to go back over all of that, or is it cathartic?
I think it's a combination of both. I think through the pain comes the catharsis. Writing stories about growing up in a home where we sometimes didn't have food is painful. Remembering stories of growing up in a home of domestic abuse, painful stories.
One of the more painful ones involving his abusive stepfather and the terrifying day he shot Noah's mother, Patricia, in the head.
Did you think you were going to lose her?
I did. My mother was shot not just in the torso, but in the head. And a head shot is a head shot. You don't think a person's recovering. And miraculously, she came out on the other side with no permanent damage. It's something that my family has lived through and now we laugh about, and that's who we are as a family.
Is that where your comic chops came from? Laughing at the pain?
I think so, yeah. Laughter is an escape. I feel like Laughter reminds you of your best self, your favorite self, your freest self.
He turned that laughter into a career, becoming one of the most successful comics in South Africa.
So Oprah flew down on her jet and she built the school. $50 million she spent. She was like, "You're not going to spank these kids, are you?" And the headmaster was like, "No, never. We beat them. But because it's Oprah's school, everybody's getting one. You're getting a beating. You're getting a..." John is the crazy person who plucked me from obscurity. He's the guy who saw me and said he should come to the show. There was a lack of acknowledgement. There are many Americans who still live in a world where they don't even acknowledge the fact that African Americans are operating from a place of deep oppression. And if there is no system where we are working to reform people or trying to have a discussion, then that racism is not going to go anywhere.
Earlier tonight at the White House, President Obama echoing the need for Americans to come together.
I think it's important to give the incoming administration the space and to give the public clarity about what it is that they're trying to do.
An improbable moment for that biracial boy born a crime all those years ago, seated across from the U.S. president, a biracial man himself. For Nightline, I'm Deborah Roberts in New York.
I think when it comes to racism, right, are people born racist? Maybe. But what really makes people to be racist is there are three things. First, what they hear. Second, what they watch. And the third one, the environments they surround themselves with. So let's talk about what they hear, right? Let's say you're born in a country where you've heard a lot of negative things about Muslims. You come across a person who's Muslim. You, based on what you've been told, you just automatically think in your mind like, hey, that person's a racist person or that person's a bad person because of what I've heard, what I've been told, and also what I've watched. So that goes into a person and it makes the person start becoming racist. And secondly, another one, watch, now we can talk about what you watch. Like, there are a lot of ads that have been shown on TV, and those ads are geared towards like donations, especially when it comes to Africa, where they ask people to donate money for Africans to be treated, well, actually to donate money, especially for Africans in poor countries. And so a lot of people see that and think the whole of Africa is very poor, or people are very poor in the whole of Africa. And as they see that, then they start thinking that that is how Africa is, that is how Africa is. Africa is poor, everybody's poor over there, but meanwhile, it is not so. So, based on what you watch, based on what you hear, it gets put into your mind, into your subconscious, and makes the person start acting racist, But can that be altered, or can they be changed where the person can improve and become less racist? Yes, there can be, And how is that? How can they go about that? They can go about that by the person start interacting and watching things about people that he must have thought that they're racist. When he start watching those things, then he start noticing like, hey, no, I was wrong by seeing these people are racist or by seeing that people are racist. Because just because the person is racist doesn't mean everybody else is racist. And just because you've had a bad experience with a racist person doesn't mean everyone is racist. And as people start experiencing other people, then they slowly become less racist. And that brings me to the part of Trump where Trevor Noah was asked, is Donald Trump racist? And what was his response? He said he think Trump is racist. And a lot of people were like, why do you say that? why they say such a thing about Donald Trump? You know, I don't blame him. You know, back when Trump first became president, he put a ban on Muslim countries. A lot of people hated that, you know. And of course, a lot of people were saying they're putting those bans on these Muslim countries. It wasn't in comparison to all Muslims. You know, and not all Muslims are bad. But as time went on, he started interacting with a lot of them, then he started knowing that, like, no, hey, he was wrong. They are not bad as he thought, you know. So people can be born or maybe grew up being racist with particular class or gender of people, and as time goes on, they slowly become less and less racist, and it's absolutely possible. And I think, based on my own point of view, right, I think as compared to when Donald Trump first became president, things have drastically changed. And drastically changed in the sense whereby, I mean, like, he's a lot more better. He's a lot more better now as compared to before, you know. So I can see there has been a great amount of improvement. Like, what somebody can say is become less racist as compared to when he first became president in his first time in office. You know, that is my own point of view. I might be wrong, but people can change, people can get better, people can improve, and people can become less racist. Thank you.